Okay, my friends, here it is. The video that I'm gonna show you how to essentially plant the mushrooms into your garden. So in this video, we're gonna use the wine cap mushrooms, all right? Now, we're also gonna use some other mushrooms that we have here from our friends at North Spore. You can see here, we got the spawn. If you look, you can see that we got some different spawn going on here. We got the pink oysters, we got the bluet, we got the almond agaricus, and we got the Italian oysters. So in this video, we're gonna show you how to use the pink oysters, and we're also gonna show you how to use the Italian oysters, because those are gonna grow best in the garden. The other ones, we're gonna save for the Viking North plot. So the wine cap mushrooms, we're gonna take you over and show you how to grow them right now. So first thing we want to do is find an area in the garden that is nice and shady, okay? The wine caps can take more sun than most other mushrooms, but you can't just plant them directly out into the full sun. They're gonna dehydrate and dry. So you wanna find a spot that is sort of off in a corner, under a tree, under this maple tree, for example, on the north side of this shed. And so first thing we gotta do is we gotta clear some stuff out. And we're gonna clear out this area and we're gonna put these in this little tiny patch right here. We're gonna tuck them back here, but first we have to clear out the weeds and we have to clear out this compost. Now guys, look at this. I just wanna show you real quick. This compost bin, okay? I filled this thing 3 years ago. It was full of food scrap 3 years ago, and I have not touched it since then. Now look, the whole entire thing went down to this tiny little layer of compost. The only thing that are still totally untouched are the eggshells. Yes, that's right. Eggshells will take years to break down and become plant available in your soil. It is a total myth that you just sprinkle eggshells around your tomatoes and put water on them and that you get calcium from that. It doesn't work that way, guys. So now that we have the space clear, we want to rake away the leaf debris, because wine caps love to be in contact with the soil. They can be soil dwelling more than any of the other species. So we're gonna rake away a little spot so that we got good ground contact. Mushrooms have a hard time growing on scrap metal and concrete, so. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our supplies. It's gonna be the wine cap mushrooms. It's gonna be a bale of clean straw, and it must be straw, not hay, guys, okay? Hay has got too many nutrients in it and it's got too much other stuff. It's not gonna work. It's gotta be straw, just straight up carbon. That's what they like. And then the process is actually pretty simple. We're just gonna take the spawn, we're gonna break it up real nice, and we're gonna make sure that it's not pulverized, but that it's in nice little chunks. And essentially, we're just gonna layer. We're gonna layer, put down a thin layer of the straw, then we're gonna sprinkle on that the ground up sawdust spawn of the wine cap mushroom. And then we're gonna put some water on it, and then we're gonna sprinkle another layer of the straw over it. Now, when you're making these layers, you want to make it so that the straw is greatly in contact with the spore. So we don't want to have a lot of air spaces in between. So don't just lightly fluff the straw on there. You really want to put your layers, get it wet, and then kind of tamp it down real good. You want it to be tamped down. Then once you've got a layer of straw, a little layer of spawn, a layer of straw, 3 to 4 inches of straw, another layer of spawn, another 3 to 4 inches of straw. That's how you do it, guys. You layer it up. And for this area, because I want to make sure that we are going to have colonization, I'm going to put pretty much double the amount that you would have to put. So I'm going to use 2 of these blocks so that I can make sure that this stuff is going to colonize and that nothing else is going to outcompete it. Because once they're established, the wine cap mushroom are wonderful garden friends. They will be there for a long time. But getting them established, especially in the first year, can be a little bit tricky. And so you want to give them every advantage that you possibly can. Now, after the whole bed is made and we got about 5 layers, we're going to top it with a thick 6-inch layer of the straw. We're going to put it over the top and we're going to tamp it down, guys. We're going to step on it. We're going to tamp it, make sure that there's as little air spaces as possible, because the air spaces, the mycelium cannot go in between. All right. So here's what has to happen, guys. The mushroom spawn has to colonize that whole substrate, all the straw. It has to go through with its fungal hyphae and colonize the whole thing. Only then, once it's colonized, will it be triggered to fruit. And the mushroom is actually the fruit of the organism, much like the apple from the apple tree. the mycelium would be equal to the actual branches and structure of the apple tree, but the mushroom would be equivalent to the fruit of the apple tree. So here's the biggest thing, guys. You want to keep this stuff moist, okay? You got to keep it nice and moist. So you can see here on this side, on the north side of this shed, every time it rains, it's going to fall water right down onto our mushrooms. So it's going to keep this whole place nice and moist. And we have put this, we've redirected this clematis over the top of it. And so this is going to fill this shady spot. It's going to make sure that it's in shade all the time. And that's really important. There might be a little bit of dappled sunlight, but it's especially important to keep them mostly shade. And this, as you will see here, I'll do an update video. This will be mostly shade here. And so that's really all that you got to do. It's going to colonize and then eventually it's going to fruit. Now there's no telling when it's going to fruit, but since we doubled up the spawn rate, meaning the amount of spawn we're using per given amount of substrate, which is the straw, it should spawn, it should fruit much faster. You just want to make sure that they do not dry out. That's the important thing. You could put a blackout tarp over them for a couple of days or a week or two just to help them get established. But once they're established, guys, they're going to be pretty much carefree and they're going to be fruiting like this. In my friend Beth's garden, just a little bit north of us. She planted them last year and she's getting them all the time now this year. Okay guys, now I'm going to show you how to grow the pink oysters, all right? Now the pink oysters are a very fast colonizing strain. They're a tropical strain though, so they love the heat and humidity. And so don't plant them out if it's still cool or whatever. But for this example purposes, we're going to plant them into these buckets. And so it's actually very simple, guys. Just watch this, watch the process I'm about to do, and you can make huge amounts of gourmet mushrooms just from these mushroom spawn. First thing we have to do is decide what kind of containers we're gonna grow them in. These are just food grade 5-gallon buckets. I drilled some holes in them, about a 1/2 inch was the holes that I drilled into them, like this pattern. And then the next thing is that we have to sterilize a little bit or pasteurize the straw. And so in order to do that, all I did was take some of the straw and stuff it into these bags here that you see. And then we're gonna put them into a bath. And so the bath is gonna have a really high pH. And for that, we're gonna use hydrated lime. Now it's not garden lime, this is hydrated lime. So it's a little bit different and it's a little bit, irritates the skin. So you'll mix it into the container. This is very simple, guys. Listen, you just fill up the container with the appropriate size amount of water and put in a bunch of the hydrated lime, basically. You almost can't put in too much. So here you see I've got about 50 gallons of water here, and I put in about 4 cups of the hydrated lime, give or take. But you can't really do too much because even if the pH is all the way to 14, which takes a lot, that's still perfectly fine for the mushroom. So the sterilization method is that we're raising the pH to be so alkaline that other molds and things can't grow there. But these kind of mushrooms can easily grow there, no problem. They're not pH sensitive. So we get our water bath to the appropriate pH. Anything over 11.5 is gonna be adequate. So 12, 12.5, you don't even really need to test it. Honestly, you can just put in a bunch and you'll be fine. Remember, you really can't do too much. So just put it in there and let the things soak overnight. And it's really important that they remain submerged in the water. They must remain submerged. So put them into the water, let them soak overnight, pull them back out, let them drain for a few hours as you see here. And now we are ready for this step. And so for this step, I'm gonna show you guys that we are just gonna take this here stool. And it's gonna be super simple, guys. I'll walk you through the process here, okay? So we're just gonna take the bag of the spawn, okay? And links to all this spawn are in the description. If you guys wanna get some, use the code. There's like a discount code in there, you know, because I'm part of the program. So I'll get a little kickback and you get like 10% off. So use the link in the description to get whatever spawn that you want and get your spawn and break it up like this, all right? And just so I don't have a lot of complaining in the comments and everything, I'm going to go ahead and put on gloves, although I'll tell you right now, oftentimes, most of the time, pretty much every time, I don't wear gloves, okay? Yes, it irritates the skin a little bit, but it's really not that big of a deal. So what I wanna show you here though, is that you need to layer this stuff. Okay, so we busted it open. Now we're gonna take our strained straw. Now, sopping wet, all right? But you also don't want it to be bone dry. So just a couple hours is enough. Do you see here how if I hold it like this, nothing really happens. But if I kind of squeeze it a little bit of water comes out, okay? So that's not the end of the world. We are just going to use it like this. Now, in order to use it, it's actually very simple, guys. We're just gonna layer these things in here. So we're gonna start with just a little bit of the straw, and we're gonna put it in there like this. And then we're just gonna take a small handful of the spawn, and we're just gonna put it in there like this, sprinkle it over the top, and I'll get you guys an above shot here in just a moment. We'll put like 2 handfuls in there, and then we will sprinkle some more straw over the top. And remember, guys, when we're making these layers, we want to really make sure that we're pressing that stuff down, and that is what is going to give us that nice tamped down, you know, low airspace compaction. That's what we need. Okay, you don't have to get a hammer out, but you want to make sure that these that there's not a bunch of airspace in there, because the mycelium cannot jump over the airspace. Remember that. And I have been utilizing this method indoors for a long time, and it works just as good outdoors. And so the trick is, okay, if you're really experienced with this type of mushroom growing, then you can use 1 bag to do like 6 buckets if you need to. But if this is your first time, or even you don't feel like you're an actual pro at it, then you need to use pretty much half of a bag per bucket, per 5-gallon bucket. Pretty much just make sure that it happens at half a bag per 5-gallon bucket. That's going to be an adequate spawn rate, meaning enough of the spawn per given amount of substrate. That's going to be high enough where you will have success pretty much no matter what. These things are going to colonize, definitely. Again, guys, it's really important that you put the layers in there, okay? So opt on the side of thinner layers rather than too thick of layers. Just more layers, but thinner is perfectly fine. You can even mix it all up into a big tub together, but I found that this is just perfectly adequate. These pink oysters are so aggressive and so fast at their spawning, or at their colonization, that within just a couple of weeks, you're gonna be having mushrooms. It's insane, but with these pink oysters, within just a couple of weeks, you're gonna be having mushrooms. And guys, this isn't like other mushrooms where you have to be like in a clean room and stuff. I mean, these are outdoor strains, and these are a little bit more aggressive than certain types of mushrooms. So you pretty much, as long as you're taking reasonable caution, you're gonna be just fine. And then when we do the final cap on these, we want to leave a little bit of space at the top, a couple of inches. But the final top, I have found it's best if you sprinkle a little bit of spawn over the top as like a cap. So your last layer should be spawn. Okay, so now that we have the whole thing being topped up, we will be able to see that the very last thing is the lid. Now, you don't have to have on like a hermetic seal by any means. I just like to put the lid on like this and make sure that it's closed so that nothing gets into it. And guys, literally, that's all that we need to do with it, okay? We're just gonna put this in a warm place out of direct sunlight. Sunlight is the killer of the mushrooms, okay? Think about in the woods, it's nice and cool and moist all the time where the mushrooms like to grow. And they only grow in very specific areas, but this will work. You will see in about 2 weeks, this whole thing is gonna become a huge white mass of stuff. And then mushrooms are gonna start fruiting out of here. Just like you see in these pictures, if I can find them, I will show them to you, of the ones that I do indoors. And these buckets work great. So that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. If you want to get your own spawn, the links are in the description, and utilize one of these 2 methods. It will be nice and easy for you to start the mushrooms. You'll have great success, but you can experiment with the other ones if you want, but the ones that for sure are gonna work are your wine caps and your oysters, all right? So we will see you every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time for the live Q&A.